Hello, Chipmunk and Chipette fans. My name is Grandy Tamias, the speculative evolved species of upright walking chipmunk, and in celebration of the Chipmunk Adventure's 35th anniversary, today's topic will be, should the film have been longer? As it is, the Chipmunk Adventure's runtime is 77 minutes, including credits, making it tied with Alvin and the Chipmunks Meet the Wolfman as the shortest film in the franchise, theatrical or direct-to-video. Now, it wasn't uncommon for animated films of the 80s to be shorter than they are today, and in fact, there are plenty of examples of ones that are even shorter, but I will admit that, for as great as this film is, there are parts that felt a little rushed, like Theo being captured, worshipped, and almost sacrificed, as well as how they gloss over Miss Miller being fine with letting the boys go on their adventure after the fake phone call. So, why is the Chipmunk Adventure as short as it is? Well, according to Ross Bagdasarian Jr., many parts of the film were cut out due to deadline constraints. They had a promotional deal with Burger King to finish and release the film at a certain time, and so sacrifices had to be made. As Ross himself puts it, as the film's release date rapidly approached, we had to cut out parts of the script that were either too difficult to animate or not close enough to being completed. These cuts were not the work of tiny trims or delicate sculpting, but rather large machete-type butchering that left gaping holes as far as the eye could see. And some of the concept art seems to back this up, showing locations that the Chipmunks and Chipettes never visited in the film, including this image of the Chipmunks being captured by dogs in Soviet Russia. As fascinating as these are, I do question what the purpose of a scene like this was and what it could have added to the overall story. But that leads me to my next question. How long could the Chipmunk Adventure have been if they had time to complete their original vision? Well, since this is still an animated film meant to appeal to children, I assume it would be closer to most other animated films at the time, so at or under 90 minutes. Assuming we gave them the full 90 minutes, that's 13 more minutes than the Chipmunk Adventure runtime that we ended up with. So, can 13 minutes really fill in parts of the movie that felt lacking? I totally think it can. I feel like most of the scenes that I had a problem with only needed small extensions to justify certain things, and in fact there is evidence to suggest that such extensions were planned. There exists unused audio from scenes like where the Chipmunks and Chipettes meet Klaus and Claudia in the diner, and there's an explanation as to how Claudia learns Miss Miller's name, fixing the plot hole at the airport. I won't play the audio in this video because I want to save it for my Chipmunk Iceberg video. Another scene that I have reason to believe was planned but never animated would have been the Chipettes going through a hurricane. It really doesn't make sense that we're only told about it by Simon before the race starts, and then 2 scenes later, their balloon has crashed on Bermuda. If such a scene was not planned, that would have been lazy writing, and I don't believe Ross Bagdasarian Jr. and Janice Carmen would have been that forgetful, especially on such a big project like this film. Why else would this plot point have been dropped so quickly and we only have the Chipettes' frizzy hair to show for it? I'm almost certain that it was one of those scenes that Ross was talking about that could have been too difficult to animate or just not completed in time. But I have also heard arguments from some fans that the film is too long, and point to scenes like the musical number in Athens. Personally, I enjoyed this scene. It's one of my favorites in the movie. I can understand why people might think that this is unnecessary and doesn't add much to the story, but I think it only feels longer than it should be by comparison to necessary scenes that had stuff cut. We probably won't ever get a director's cut of this film, and trying to make new scenes for it now would essentially be impossible since the older animation methods and technology have gone the way of the non-avian dinosaur, but it would be great if we got another re-release with a director's commentary and behind-the-scenes stuff. I doubt there's any footage of the actors in the recording studio performing their lines or anything like that, but scans of the storyboards would be neat. Even if the actual film can't be made any longer, I think we need more supplementary material that's more informative about the process of making the film. Actually, you know what we definitely need? The original script for this movie. Come on, the film is 35 years old now and there's nothing to hide, but this is Bagdasarian we're talking about. They keep withholding things longer than they should, even things that they could make money off of. But seriously, what's the harm? Plenty of newer films have their scripts dumped online all the time. We could finally know if the hurricane scene was real and the Russia scene or anything that lines up with the concept art. And that's about going to do it for this video. Sorry this was a little on the shorter side. Yes, I'm aware of the irony in that, but there just wasn't much tangible stuff to go off of. Before I go, I also want to thank you all for your support because I have just passed 1,000 subscribers. I didn't really have anything special planned, so consider this the 100,000 subs episode. Maybe I'll do something bigger for 2,000 subs, like a remaster of one of my older videos, or an analysis of some obscure animal-related media thing in pop culture. You know how I am. Anyway, feel free to let me know in the comments what you think of the length of the Chipmunk Adventure. Is it too short, too long? What scenes should have been extended? And what kind of behind-the-scenes stuff would you have liked to see? As well as suggestions for future Alvin and the Chipmunks Elaborations topics. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share, which all go a long way. Check out my Twitter and Discord linked in the description. With all that said, I hope you enjoyed, have a nice day, and thank you for your time.